Ready to get started. You can see the interesting background that's there. I'll share the reason why it is so. We are streaming live on LinkedIn, just waiting for YouTube. And we are live on YouTube as well. I was with my batchmates in final year. Not exactly final year, it was internship. So I'm talking about the year 2020. Somewhere in the month of August, September. So the lockdown had slowly just eased off, as in the first phase of lockdown had just eased off, and we were told to return back to the college, and everyone started wearing masks and all of those things. For the first time in our entire college, we were having a welcome, like the first year's no welcome party, something like that, welcome orientation or whatever. And as interns, we were pretty much the senior most in the whole college. So I have always seen growing up in my college that the seniors would always look down upon the juniors, would try to rag them, bully them, all of those things. But then over a period of time, what I have learned is when you go through some form of a problem, the usual thing that you observe is people pass on that problem to the next generation as well. If someone got ragged, they are also going to rag their juniors, and then the cycle goes on. But then I took up the responsibility on why is it necessary to just pass that on? Why can't we be in a position where we are breaking that cycle by being a source of inspiration rather than a source of trauma for someone? As interns, we can walk in anytime, do anything that we want, and that's what has been happening in the college so far. That day, I did not really have much of a work to do in the college as an intern. So I just walked in. I was sitting somewhere right at the end. A couple of my batchmates came in and sat as well. All the juniors, as usual, they started, oh, sir, what is it? Would you like anything? Would you like to go and speak or something? No, no, nothing like that. But then out of the blue, one of the juniors who knew me at a personal level announced, uh, we would like to welcome a very, very special person right now on stage who would like to not just entertain us, but also share his words of wisdom. Someone who has never failed in any subject, has cleared the entire 4 years one shot. Let's welcome Dr. Suryadeep Majumdar. Huh? Huh? What just happened? What just happened? Now imagine almost 100 students suddenly when you're in the stage, like right now behind you can see, right? You can only see the heads of people. Okay. Suddenly you see all the heads pop up and now everyone is turning left, right, and center. It's like, who is this Dr. Suryadeep? My batchmates were like, come on, go, you're good at this, you're good at this. And by that time I had already started working on my communication skills. So I said, okay, fine. This is a challenge that has been thrown to me. Let's go ahead and do it. So I walked somewhere right down the corner, moved into the stage, caught the mic, told the intern, yeah, you shouldn't have done it. I mean, come on, sir, you will do well. And that was me going onto the stage, addressing so many different people without having a single bit of prep on what is it that I even have to speak on. So the things that I like doing is I like to perform a little bit, like whatever little bit of stand-up comedy that I know, little bit of jokes that I know, little bit of mimicry of our professors that I know. I did all of that. And then I shared with them these 4 years, I will sum it up in four different subtle pointers. In first year, everything is going to look completely clueless. You will not know what subjects to read, how much to read. Parallelly, you will have the same experience of, oh, I've come to the college for the first time. Let me explore the city. Let me explore on weekends. Let me go out with my friends. Parallelly, you would like to go out for vacations also while managing your attendance and everything. First year, a lot of you are going to find it very, very challenging at the end of the year when you will not even be allowed to write the exams because you enjoyed so much that you didn't even meet the bare minimum criteria. When you come to second year, it's going to be even harder because the subjects and the teachers, the impact. First year is still something that you've learned before, so you can somehow manage it. Second year, you got to step up your gears or continue to hit stagnancy. Third year is comfortable. Subjects are less, pressure is less. Third year, you're going to enjoy. However, there's one subject that's going to hold you by your throat. Make sure that you do everything in your power to attend those lectures. Do not miss. If possible, maintain 100% attendance. Do everything that the teachers say, because that's the only department where the teachers are supportive, provided they see you every day in class. And final year, just show up every day. Do nothing, just show up every day. That's the year that's going to make or break your life. I was not a good student on all these 4 years. And yet, surprisingly, I'm not sure how come we have the legends of our batch sitting right here in the audience. Yet I was chose to come and speak to you. The only thing that I did was I showed up and I made things happen. My intention for you is you become a better version of yourself. And 5 years down the line, may you be that chosen soul to walk up and address the same experiences with your juniors. That's how I stopped. By that time, the emotions were exactly what it was right now. And I spoke exactly the same way. All the juniors stood up, and it started was as little claps, soon turned into a thunderous applause, to such an extent where I saw one or two batchmates in tears. Two or three professors had also walked in and they were also speaking. Few professors who knew me personally. And as I was taking my bag and going off, it's like, Suryadeep, we never knew you could speak which touches over here. When my batchmates were asking me, Suryadeep, how did you do it? And over the last couple of years, had the blessing of gracing quite an amazing set of stages graced upon me, showered their grace on me, that I got the chance to speak in all these different platforms. Every single time I get this question, Suryadeep, how do you do it? Now, honestly, this morning, I did not wake up early, did not go for my badminton, did not have my workouts, but I did not want to miss this because I had prepared, I was ready with all my points to share this exact thing of how to even structure a speech. Now, if you observed so far, if you've been attending these daily lives, not even once I used a PPT or I showed you a mind map. All of the things I prepared as a notes, every single thing that I create will be turned into a detailed blog later. Notes, stories, experiences, mind maps, ebooks, cheat sheets, all these things are in the process. But me speaking to you, I wanted to be as raw as possible, as authentic as possible, as transparent as possible. Even though I make mistakes, even though I'm unprepared, I want to show you exactly what do I do, how do I do it. And today's session is literally the foundation of it all. I did not know this until and unless I started learning those public speaking skills. So there are two major platforms where I learned from. The first, I will not be able to take the name of that platform because, nor the name of the mentor or the person who facilitated the entire community, because he launched a program and he took money from 38 people. He took 1 lakh rupees, did not give them what he promised, which was, I'm going to teach you within 1 year how to earn 1 lakh every month in a digital coaching, through a digital coaching business. He was not able to fulfill that promise, and he kind of took retirement and had a huge fallout with all of us. So I wouldn't like to take the name of the community nor the person. I don't want any controversy, honestly. What happened is that community, before he made all these blunders, before that, he had created a series of courses. He was a TEDx speaker, multiple times TEDx speaker. He was in Toastmasters. He was an entrepreneur for quite a few years. He created a step-by-step system, which I watched three, four, five rounds of all his courses, took a lot of notes, and I've been practicing in his community. That I did for almost 4 months straight, 3 videos per day. Okay, so that's what uh, you can make the count: 120, 360 videos, which I spoke about earlier as well. The second will be, once his community went a little down, Yogeshwari literally convinced me, persuaded me, pushed me, forced me to join Toastmasters. Of course, before that, one of my exes had also told me, but I did not listen. I felt it was not really something that I would need. But the way Yogeshwari told me, she even gave me the bait. I will mentor you, she said. Now, if you've been watching Yogeshwari's lives and if you've seen her speak, you would love to be mentored by her. Okay, so that was an opportunity I did not want to let go of. So I joined the Toastmasters, and there I learned the whole, whatever it is that I'm going to share today. The third would be a couple of mentors that walked into my life, and probably they don't know it yet, but we're going to work so hard together, you and I, that they will know us, that we were their students and we learned from them. And who knows, we might be keynote speakers in their communities also, right? So the three names will be Win Jiang, Lisa Nichols, Eric Edmeades. Lisa Nichols and Eric Edmeades are Mind Valley teachers, and their courses, groundbreaking. Same thing for Win Jiang. But the problem here is, when I got to know about their courses for the first time, each of their courses, I mean, the Stage Academy by Eric Edmeades is what, $1,000. Lisa Nichols Speak and Inspire course is around $600. Win Jiang sells his entire communication mastery course for $997. If anybody asks him, even in his website, the Q&A, it's written, "Why is your course $1,000? Why is it so expensive?" And the answer to that is, hey, it's not $1,000, it's 997. LOL. Seriously, what the amount of money for his one course is, for a lot of people, the freshers annual salary in India even today. Now, if I've learned from all these people and I've been using these techniques and methods step by step, why not bring it all together and give it to you? Now, if you observed so far, what did I do till now? I walked you through a step by step story. I literally gave a small little speech, and I also embedded my experience over a period of time, so that I can grab your attention and we can buckle up our seats and kickstart learning about how to structure a speech without taking any notes, without having anything as such, where you don't really necessarily need any articles or any pointers as such. And before we get into the frameworks and everything, let's understand the entire thing properly. Now, for this, what I have in front of me is, I have a very, very simple mind map. Now, I'm not going to show you the mind map. You can download it from our newsletter. If you sign up for my newsletter, every Monday, I share all of those details. So you have to understand, whenever you want to speak, oftentimes what happens is, there are guest lecturers and guest speakers. They just walk up, they speak, and they're done. But when I was analyzing all these bright minds, the greatest on the planet, the first aspect of today's session is the prerequisite before you even start your speech. Prerequisite. And these steps have always helped me to build a better connection with my audience even before I walk up to the stage. Now, how are you going to feel if you already know your audience? I'll give you an example, okay? When we were small, young, we were staying in the joint family, and joint family obviously had a lot of guests coming in. My dad, his elder brother, and his youngest brother, three of them were there, and they had their respective friends, family members, and all. And then my dad got married. My dad's youngest brother got married, and obviously from the ladies' side, there are a lot of relatives coming in. So every week in and week out, we would have relatives whom we did not even know, or we would never ever see again. And yet, every single time, I would be called in front of all of them, in front of strangers, and like, Orko, which is my nickname. Hey, Orko, Orko, come on, come on, come on. Start singing something. You're good at singing, no? Start dancing. You're good at dance steps, right? Come on, come on. Narrate a poem. In India, if you're a child in a joint family, this you have to go through this. And oftentimes, I would definitely pee in front of everyone. But then the second time or the third time when they would come, or now, even now, okay, whenever we go to meet our aunts, as in my dad's cousin sister, my dad's immediate sisters, or my mom's immediate brothers and sisters, or any kind of family get together that we are like, people tell me, hey, Orko, come on, why don't you sing something for us? And I get my karaoke mic and I just start singing. Familiarity makes things easier, isn't it? So why not use these prerequisites to get to know your audience? Here's what I do. The first is audience awareness. And all you have to do is just walk up to your audience as when the informal meeting or gathering and everything happens. Just walk up and talk to people that, hey, my name is Suryadeep. I'm just attending this event for the first time. Is it okay if I can join this conversation? They would be welcoming. They would be sharing. They would tell you everything that you need to know. And then you can ask them questions like, what are your expectations from this session? What made you come here and listen to some random speakers? When you ask more questions, you feel the connection of the audience. And let's just say you want to move to a next group. Yeah, it was great talking to you. I just wanted to talk to a few more people. I hope it's okay. They will be okay. Now imagine you're speaking to 5 or 6 such groups, and then you walk into the stage. And they're like, hey, 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 this is the person who was talking to us no, in the morning. Wow, he's a speaker. They have established a connection. You have established it. They're already on the edge of their seats to listen to you. So it's called pre-framing emotionally. You're building a connection even before you start. The second thing is the objective clarity. Now, while you are talking to your audience, you are obviously asking them what is it that they need. But at the same time, you can also ask your organizer, whoever has invited you to speak, or let's just say it need not be a big speaking event as well. It could be something as simple as your boss telling you to give a presentation. You can ask them, what is the objective that you want me to experience? Recently, my mentor and my present boss, his name is Dr. M.V. Priyang, one of India's leading sound healing coaches. He asked me to conduct a presentation out of the blue. Okay. Every Wednesday we have internal team presentations. So we take a properly important topic and everybody has to share. So he just said, Suryadeep, I can see that you are doing some amazing work with AI. You taught our team members as well, but I'm not sure who is using how much. Can you walk them through a hands-on experience? And I did. Step by step, I guided them how to do it, what prompts to give, how to set up your AI, your own customized AI chatbot. How do you bring custom GPTs? I literally made them do. But even before I did that, I asked him, sir, what would be that objective? What is that one core point that you would like me to convey through that session? He's like, I just want them their hands-on implementation. So I was clear. Now my presentation was revolving around a more hands-on approach rather than me giving yarn. It was more of a facilitation rather than a session. And then you can also ask things like, what do you want them to feel? What do you want them to do after your talk? And if your audience members wants to experience one thing, what would that be? As and when you ask these questions to the people in the audience before, as well as your organizers, whoever is asking you to conduct a presentation, you get to know and prepare, tweak wherever you need to, as and when. Now, what all to tweak, what not, probably you've already done a prep work. All of those things we're going to discover by the end of today's session itself. We're just getting warmed up. The third thing is planning the duration. And this is when I will be bringing in one of Eric Edmeades sir's concept called as a speech map. When you understand your duration, whether you're speaking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 90 minutes, you will be able to plan the structure of your entire speech in a very, very meticulous manner where you never ever have to focus towards time at all. And we will understand how to do so. At the same time, you will have spaces when to pause, when to react. when to respond, when to interact, when to ask questions to the audience, and not just make the speech all about a monologue. And finally, the call to action. You have to be crystal clear about what is your call to action, or is the audience's expected call to action, organizer's expected call to action from your speech. So questions like, what's the transformation you want your audience to feel? What will they do differently after your talk? And understanding the intention and the objective of the organizer, whoever has asked you to speak, whether they want you to inspire, educate, implement, convert, facilitate, be clear about it, and then prepare accordingly. Because once you do, that's when you're ready to fly. Now, Eric Edmeades, sir, speaks very beautifully about the airplane analogy. You look at a runway, the air from the airport, a plane slowly picks up the pace and then goes on full throttle, so much so that if you've ever been on an aeroplane, you just literally get pushed. Now, I get a little scared whenever I am in the aeroplane and the plane is about to take off. So I'm kind of closing my eyes and I'm praying intensely. My co-passengers gets a little scared, and at times they try to warm me up. But the moment the plane takes off and I always count to 30 to 40 seconds before I start breathing deep and I calm down. So the point is, when you lift off, unless you have that full throttle energy, you'll not be able to lift off. So the first 15, it's called as the F15, the first 15 seconds, the first 15 minutes, or the first 15% of your presentation is the takeoff. That's when you need to grab the attention of the audience big time. And how do you do that? You ask them for a hook. A hook. By the way, what I'm sharing right now is first the system, then we'll talk about the speech map. Okay, so the first 15 seconds, 15 minutes, 15% of your speech, you ask them a couple of questions, bang on. You run into the stage, you tell them to show their hands and ask them a couple of rhetorical questions. You narrate a story, just like how I did at the start of today's session, to immediately grab your attention. When you ask people to remember, when you ask people to imagine for a moment, when you bring them and introduce them to a scenario and a story, they immediately get their attention. Then you bring back the idea. If you observed what I did at the start of today's session, is I explained the entire thing and got you down to the foundation of why I was able to speak on stage that day. And I also created such a good picture, giving you the whole experience of the standing ovation and all. You are curious, aren't you? Once the flight takeoff is done, then you have the middle cruise. The middle cruise is when everything becomes easy, but then at the same time, you'll see every now and then the air hostess will come in to ask you for water or food. If you ordered your snacks, they come in and you have a good time. Maybe you're watching a movie, maybe you're interacting with your co-passengers. I prefer to interact with a lot of people because we're always alone most of the time. Why not make the most of the conversation? So your main content, you have to understand that there is a box to it. A box, as in, we will understand more about boxes in the next few minutes later. You want to talk about one core point. Let's just say you're talking about the topic, even now, right now, speech structure. You can take any topic. In order to explain this topic, I need to have certain methods to be able to convey the topic, and that is going to be certain points. So my points right now for this speech is the prerequisites before your speech, then framework number 1, which is the speech map method, framework number 2, which is the Tiffin box method, and finally I'm going to give you a live demo and a few key takeaways. That's going to be my landing, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Now, in order to explain, right now we are in the middle part of the thing. If you've observed, I am using a lot of personal stories, a lot of personal examples. At the same time, in between, sprinkling those points which you will take down as notes or absorb as learnings. So if I'm going to put 5 points throughout my, 45 minutes is the time that I usually give to myself. At times it might go up to 1 hour as well, depending on the seriousness of the topic. But from 8:30 a.m. I start. I have that whole framework. Each of the framework I decide with a story. Why a story? So that it's more relatable. And I'm not just giving you gyan. So the middle point is when you add those stories blended in with insights. Now, depends. What I have experienced is one major story, if I'm talking about it and sharing it in detail without even the timer, it's almost 5 minutes. Unless it's a very, very deep thing. When you look at stand-up comedians, they stretch the same story to 90 minutes. Okay. So, but usually when you share any story, 5 minutes is the maximum. On an average, that's what we've observed so far. And we've done a lot of trials and errors. Yogeshwari and I, Toastmasters meetings, all of these things. So if you can share one story and share one insight with the story, that becomes your one segment. Now you check how many minutes you have to speak on or how many points that you want to talk about to explain those points, and you give 5 minutes each, and that's it. What you have already created is a phenomenal structure and a phenomenal middle cruise. That's the 70% of your entire content. Then, now as you're doing so, what you're doing is you're proving the point with examples, analogies, and personal experiences, and you're anchoring the audience's emotions around the message. People don't remember what you told to them. People remember how you made them feel. So if your talk can shift people's emotions and feelings, they will remember you for life. Let me give you an example. And right now, do this with me, okay? The moment I say, slow and steady wins the race, which story are you reminded of? Okay. Are you getting it? The hare and the tortoise? Why? Because we know the emotions behind the story whenever we've heard it. What if I tell you this one? Uh, I have a dream. Who does it remind you of? Or Sisters and Brothers of America. Who does that remind you of? Martin Luther King Jr. and Swami Vivekananda, because of the emotions that they shifted within us. So that makes sense. Then comes your landing. Now you've beautifully structured what points you want to share, the stories behind those points, sprinkling with insights. Now you want to reflect and recap and give them the call to action. What is it that they need to do? And that's when you're slowly getting them into the landing, and you can do so by giving them an image, a line, or a feeling that they can hold on to together that acts as an anchor. Every single time they're going to do it, they will remember you and only you. How do you do that? Again, you can do so with another story. You can do so with a quote and expanding on that. You can do so by asking all of them to take action together. Possible. Once you do all of that, you will soon realize that you have a perfect story to get ready to present. Now, the way that I do it is in the form of a speech map. So take a big piece of paper and draw a big circle around. Okay. Right. Take a big sheet of paper, draw a big circle around. And in the circle, you can choose at the top of the right at the point of starting, right at the point of starting, that's your F15. So you can write the stories, experiences that's there in the F15. Then you can divide that entire circle into the number of points that you are going to share. Okay, so let's just say I'm talking about speech and I have 3 points to share. So at point number 1, which is my speech map, point number 2, which is my Tiffin Box tool, point number 3 is when I'm doing a live demonstration. So now for point number 1, these are the stories that I'm going to share, or these are the points that I'm going to share. Under each main point, there can be sub-points, and for each sub-point, there can be a story, an experience. For the next part, I have a couple of more stories and a couple of more experiences. For the third part is a live demonstration, and then the landing. The moment you draw it in one single circle, you just have to, it's automatically registered in your mind. Or you can just carry that one simple piece of paper. You can even draw that in your hand so that it's easy for you to write to take it up as a reference. So that's a speech map. Again, more about it. I'm not getting too technical on how to do it, how not to do it, and everything. Of course, I will be writing a detailed blog on this, so you can read that as well, which I will be informing you. And again, you will get everything, single thing in the notes as well. Okay. Let's move further to the next framework. If you're finding, this is for people who are finding speech map way too difficult. Speech map initially can be a little difficult. With practice, it just becomes easy, and then it becomes your second nature. For the people who are just starting out, the framework which makes your speech modular as well as memorable. And it's easy because it is more related to the rote learning method that we've all been subjected to throughout our school and college. In India, we have a very, very nice concept called a Tiffin Dabba, which means when our dads and granddads, I mean, right now we've got all flashy tiffin boxes, okay, but back then it was a very, very simple steel or an aluminum tiffin. I'll tell you how it looks, okay. There is one cylindrical container, bigger in size, where people would the wives or the yeah, I mean, way before now, of course, females are empowered. Uh, they manage everything together. But back then, during my mom's time, mummy would only do the cooking and uh, dad would go out for work. So when they go out for work, what would happen is the first container would have rice, roti, chapati, whatever in the first big container. That's the bigger this thing. And then there would be another container that covers the first container. Okay. And here they would give some fruits or dal or lentils or any of these, any gravy, proper gravy, which can be mixed with the rice and had. Second container. And then the third container would be maybe some form of veggies. So paneer or lady's finger, maybe some carrots and cucumber mix, something like that. Some form of a veggie that supports the rice and the dal, or for some people there would also be a fish and all. As Bengalis, we eat fish a lot, so maybe fish is also then. That's a third container, and then there would be a lid to cover the third container. And then there is a small little base, like a foundation, a steel foundation on which all the three containers rests. From the side, there will be a beautiful, uh, what's that called? A mount, which clips on and holds all the three containers together so that they don't fall. And at the top, there is a ring which you can hold it, or it's put inside a very nice warm cushion bag so that the food stays hot, and which will be worn by the. So growing up, we would always see a lot of people, I think to this date, even the government officials, they pack their tiffin like that itself. So I realized that is exactly the concept for our Tiffin box method also. You look at your overall speech, your overall topic. Your overall topic can be described beautifully under 3 points. 3 or 4 containers, not more than that. Of course, now depending on the duration, you can add more containers, but pretty much one container to validate the point. That's what you're trying to do. So what happens is one container contains one bite-sized learning story or learning experience related to that topic. So you have the main point that you want to talk about, a personal story related to that, a takeaway, and a small transition moving to the next container. Now, for different aspects of different forms of speeches, you can have multiple different containers as well. Maybe you would like to add 2 stories and one data or statistic point or your research element. How did you do research on that particular topic? Or what has happened? If you're doing a history lesson, you can talk about the different fights that happened, maybe the war, and then you can talk about what was the third container is all about, what was the aftermath of the war. If you're talking about a topic like a very complicated topic like negotiation or sales mastery, the first container is all about how did you struggle and how did you observe other people struggling. The second would be the techniques and methods. The third can be a simple roll call, a sample roll call, what you had with a customer. You're able to understand how it's structured. So for each of the containers, you need to have the main point that you want to share, the story that you would like to share, the takeaway, and the transition. So if you observe what I just did right now for this segment itself, my container was I'm explaining the Tiffin box method. For this, the first segment, the first Tiffin box under this in itself was me sharing the structure of a Tiffin box and then giving you the example of how all the metaphors, like the way the food is packed. And then I gave you the example of how each container works. And then I gave you the explanation of what are the ingredients of each of the containers. Are you able to see? So you take the main point, each of the main points is broken down into 3 points, and that way you never have to remember anything exactly as it is, because even if you mix and blend things, the audience is not going to know. And Win Jiang puts it perfectly. If you're not going to make a big deal out of it, your audience will not make a big deal out of it. Does that make sense? Okay. So how do you go about the Tiffin box? Again, it's very, very simple. You can do so over a mind map. You can take a piece of paper and do it. So the best way that I love doing it is, what is the point that you would like to share? And then create three big boxes. And in the big boxes, just write down what is the main point for each of the boxes. Huh? What is the main point that you would like to share under this topic? What is the story? You remember in the storytelling class, I had told you how to create stories and create your story trove, right? So pick up stories from your story trove and put it over there. What is the main takeaway within that Tiffin box? And how will you transition to the next one? So the transitions can include, I'll tell you, but this was only half the lesson. Or just like how I'm doing, right? I'm gonna tell you more about it later during the session. Or let's move further. Having said that, these are transitions, and as you begin to practice more, you will get the hang of it. Guess what? You already are using it. It's just that probably you're not too conscious about it. All right. So that was about the Tiffin box. Now, in order to put all these entire things together, I just thought, let me demonstrate that to you. And the best way to demonstrate would be if I can combine both these frameworks in the form of a live speech and then decode exactly what did I do. Something that I've always done that with myself. Yogeshwari and I keep doing this with each other, but I'm kind of taking this to the next level where I'm going to be giving a speech, which is completely impromptu. I'm not prepared about, I've prepared at all. And then I will deconstruct what did I say, how did I say it, and I want you to make the observation and put your thoughts also down below. Okay. So the topic that I felt was from overcoming to action taking. This is what my AI agent Clara guided me through. So even before I start speaking, I'll get the prerequisites ready. Right now, the only prerequisite that I have is the duration. So at this point of me recording, it's 9:08. So I'm going to keep the speech around 5 minutes, maybe. So it's 9:10, 9:15. The speech is going to get over, hopefully, if everything goes right. Okay. The second thing is, so the duration is sorted. Number two, what is the one objective that I would like to meet through this is, the objective is, right now you're watching me to learn how to structure a speech and present. So my objective is for you to have a good feeling, which will propel you to either save this video, rewatch it again, learn, and then immerse through the practice session again, so that it becomes a counterintuitive positive reinforcement for you to learn the skill. That's my objective. For you to learn and implement. That's my objective. So I have to prepare the speech accordingly. Number three, who's my audience? People in my LinkedIn, people in my YouTube are my audience. So I would consider people who are interested in learning about public speaking and communication. So if people are interested in learning about public speaking and communication, which means they want to do something big in their life. Let me check if my camera is good. Yeah, good. Yes, yes. Okay. Now imagine I'm sitting, you all are sitting here, and I'm standing over there, right at the top, and I'm speaking over there. Okay. So my objective is met. Let's see. Audience awareness. I'm clear who is my audience. Objective clarity is done. Duration is taken care of. Call to action is also taken care of. I would like for you to learn the skill. Okay. Now let's move. Let's kickstart. Okay. So the topic is overcoming from overthinking to action taking. Okay. So here is me running in. Let's make this a little interesting. Okay. I would like for you to say and type in the chat box. If you're watching this, just say it out loud with me. Okay. Let's invite Dr. Surya. Let's welcome Dr. Surya. That's it. Okay. On the count of 3, 2, 1, you're going to say, let's welcome Dr. Surya, and I'll just walk in. Okay. So let's go. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Let's welcome Dr. Surya. The 3rd of November, 2021, 9:30 p.m. I had my bag full of clothes, a packed bag. Mom and dad were just finishing dinner. I walked up to them and I said, Mummy, Baba, I'm leaving. What? Where are you leaving? What do you mean, what you are leaving? What is, Mummy, Baba, I'm going. I just wanted your blessings. Where you are going, what is going on, and everything. The usual way of mummy screaming. Mummy, Baba, I'm going to Pune. I've already booked my tickets. I've already packed my bags. I'm leaving home. Baba did not say a word. He wants to go. Let him go. Alone he will go. He will understand. Mummy, what you will go? Where you are going? What will happen? No, you're not allowed to go. Why didn't you tell us before? Mummy, the cab is here. I'm going. I left the door open, walked down. The entire night I spent in the airport. Morning, I took the flight, came to Pune with just 5,000 rupees in my bank account. In that situation, what would you do? How many of you always wanted to take a leap of faith on yourself to do something that you were absolutely passionate about doing when you realized that the world is not helping you out at all? How many of you felt like taking such steps? And yet there was something that was stopping you. The security, the safety, the support. And also you don't want to experience the things that can be the worst case scenario, right? Maybe you don't want to feel scared, you don't want to be lonely again, you don't even know what's the uncertainty is going to bring in. Yogeshwari had started working on a school. It was crazy because that was a time when we collaborated even more to start creating something big. We were doing We were working a lot harder. We were doing our sessions, we were doing our Toastmasters, we were giving speeches, we were conducting sessions, we were conducting webinars. Every single thing was going okay-ish, and we were just barely making ends meet. The money coming in was not enough. Soon, we realized if we want to sustain the business, if we want to really sustain us being a trainer and a coach, we have to take certain responsibilities. Cut to cut, 2022 August, I decided to take up a job. Just the training, coaching sessions was not working. The COVID pandemic was over. People had started going to the offices. No one really wanted to join sessions that much, or that's at least what we thought. But in order to support our dreams, someone had to take that leap of faith, and I did so. I moved to Delhi, completely new city altogether. Got a job in an office for the first time in my life. The salary was pretty okayish. What was not okay was the pressure. What was not okay was staying in the PG with sharing the room with three people. What was not okay was to walk into a room full of smoke just because one of the batchmates had the habit of smoking every single minute. I decided to leave. And the moment I did, another opportunity came up, took the opportunity. We started living on a month-on-month paycheck where I was earning the money so that the money could fund our dreams of us focusing on Sunsden. We were trying everything other than what was meant to be. We were working hard, paying the salary for the tool, using the salary for the tools, funding the tools, talking to each other, planning, brainstorming, doing one or two odd sessions, every single thing. At times, we even went into kickstarting to run ads, get all the tools, put all the systems and processes, hire an external person to run our ads, kickstart the lead generation, to realize that we are jumping into something about which we have no idea about. By the time we realized it, it was already October 2025. Do you remember the date when I ran out from home? 3rd November 2021. 4 years had passed. That's the beauty. When you get into a zone where you're about to experience the breakdown, that's when the biggest breakthrough happens. Yogeshwari and I sat down for the first time in our lives. Instead of planning, instead of preparation, instead of barging each other with ideas, we sat down and we asked each other, what is it that we want? She helped me understand that what I want is just to speak live, because that's what got me the results. What is it that she wants? She wants the freedom to be able to do the exactly the same, but in her way. At the same time, both of us inspiring people, and what we love most is talking to people. So what if we are able to do that consistently every single day, absolutely for free, even more at a far deeper level through courses where people can do it for themselves, just because of the challenges that we faced. We wanted to learn from people absolutely for free. We did not have money. We are both from the slums. We did not have money. So even if we wanted to learn the skills, we had to pay such huge money, but we didn't even have money. So why not make it easy for everyone? And that's when we realized coming free and sharing everything we know every single day. She does it for 20 minutes. I do it for 45, 50 minutes, an hour, how much ever I feel like, depending on the topic. All the things that we are creating are turned into blogs, which the world can read anytime, literally. It's searchable. Okay. YouTube videos are eternal. Substack newsletter, I literally write letters to you. But then if any of these things make sense, you would be interested to work with us, where you would want us to handhold you, and we want to help 10 such people each month. Technical tools, not that much. Ads, no. We are not spending money until unless we are making money. We are only making money if we're helping and serving people. When was it that you asked yourself, how can I make this world a better place? How can I serve? How can I give? How can I really feel the power of pouring my heart out? If you have, congratulations, you've already started the game. If not, what's the one action step that you can start from today onwards? Make sure that you do it. That's it. That's my speech. How do you think I did? Okay. Now let's deconstruct. Let's deconstruct everything that we just did. I divided the entire thing into 3 containers, and I'm doing 3 containers first and then the speech map. 3 containers. The first, how did I run away from home and why did I do so? And how is that relevant to overthinking and action taking? I shared that. Then the middle part, the struggles that I faced. In order to take action, you need money at least for your survival, right? So how did I and Yogeshwari blended our entire this thing together and worked towards ensuring that we make it happen? And then finally, what was that? And that was a climax moment, right? The third container was the climax moment when we discussed and planned and kickstarted taking the action step. Finally, I ended with a question. You have to tell me how did that make you feel below in the comments. Okay. Then comes the speech map. So the topic was overthinking to action taking. The F15 was my initial story of that interaction with my parents. And anything that is personal, that's a little juicy, that's a little emotional, it always catches that attention of the audience. Then I guided you through the 3 circles, the 3 points. The first point, how did we start conducting sessions? Then what happened when we took the job? The third, what happened when we finally sat down on October 2025 and had that interaction, kickstarted the action taking? The landing was me looking at you in the eye, waiting the storm to calm down. And if you observed, I asked you those questions with a lot of low and slow tonal volume. Okay. Now, this speech, you can watch it as many times as you want. If you're able to do this, you will have 5 major things that you will achieve. You have to understand first. What all did we cover today? Firstly, the fundamentals of a speech structure. I gave you a lot of stories within the session, and I gave you two concepts: Tiffin Box tool, the speech map method. And this method you can apply for literally anything in this world. You have to understand that the structure is important, not the script. If you understand the structure, the speech map is a circle, Tiffin box is 3 boxes, already your speeches are done. The second is every speech has majorly 3 parts: a strong start, staying real, authentic, integral, that's where your personal stories comes in, finally ending with heart. Because by the time you take your audience through such a journey, you would have built such a strong connection with them that they would have completely opened their hearts and poured them onto you. And finally, these tools, they don't really restrict you in any way. Rather, they help you to open up and become free by completely taking care of the mental chaos or the nervousness that comes in. Of course, it takes a little bit of an attempt to go for it. And finally, you don't need slides. You need sincerity, you need authenticity, you need clarity, you need a rhythm. And if you observe, every single time I share a story, there's always a rhythm to this. Now, here's what I want you to share right now with me. What is that upcoming speech or presentation that you're planning to present? Where is it? And do you feel, which of these two techniques that you're going to use? Are you going to use the speech map method, or you're going to use the Tiffin box method? Do put that down in the chat. Can't wait to interact with you. By the way, if you feel that you're able to do it all by yourself, fantastic. You don't have to join our cohort. Because in our cohort, what we do is we make people do it. And that can be a little difficult for you. You will become effortless. You don't have to focus on any technique as such. We'll give you a topic and you will be able to speak. That's what happens in the cohort. Now, I know you don't need it because you've already learned this, right? However, in case if you do check the details. All the descriptions are all given below. You can check it out. And along with that, there's a lot of bonus learnings as well given below. I just like to over deliver. So please do make sure that you check that out as well sometime later. And again, if you've been here so far, would love for you to hit the follow button, like, comment what were your thoughts. Most importantly, tag someone whom you feel this is going to be helpful. It's always good to pass on help from one person to another. And that's how we make the world a better place. The next time you're standing here, it's your responsibility to make sure all the people who are sitting, they are moved, they are shifted. And I know that you will be able to do it after this session. This is Dr. Srideep. Love you so, so, so much.